Good morning, third graders. We're going to be going over your reading lesson for Thursday, May the 7th, called Supporting Details. If you look at the first part, it tells you what supporting details are. Supporting details, pieces of information in a passage that support or tell about the subject or the main idea. Review it. Read the sentences. Use the hint to help you figure out which statement is a supporting detail. Plants are living creatures. Like animals, they need water, air, and light. If you look at your hint, the main idea is that plants are living creatures. What details about this main idea do you learn in the next sentence? So we know a lot of times our first sentence is our main idea, and then the next sentence tells us that like animals, they need water, air, and light. So those are the supporting details that tell us how plants are living creatures. Okay, let's look at your passage. It said to read the passage, circle the main idea, and underline supporting details that help you understand the main idea. So if you look at this passage, it says exercise is an important part of a healthy life, even for kids. Kids who get plenty of exercise have stronger muscles and bones. They are better at dealing with the challenges that come up every day. They even sleep better. When adults think of exercise, they think of going to a gym and running around a track. But kids get exercise when they play. Think about recess. You jump and run, you go across the monkey bars, you bend over to pick up balls or tie your shoes. Those things are all exercise. They help kids just like you grow strong. So get out there and play. Okay? So if we look at this, it says to circle the main idea. This whole story is telling me about how exercise is healthy for kids. So this first sentence, exercise is an important part of a healthy life even for kids. That's going to be my main idea. Then it said underline the details that help you determine that. So we need details that tell us that exercise is an important part of a healthy life. So the next one tells us kids who get plenty of exercise have stronger muscles and bones. That tells us how it's healthy. They're better at dealing with challenges when they come up. That's another detail. They sleep better would be a detail. Okay, then we're talking about adults. But remember, our main idea was about kids, so this is telling how it helps adults. Right here it says kids get exercise when they play. That's telling us how exercise helps kids. Then it just tells us different ways you can get the exercise when you're playing. Okay, so let's look at our questions. According to the beginning of the passage, exercise is. Okay, now it told me exactly where to go find the answer. The beginning of the passage. So if I go back, it says exercise is an important part of a healthy life for kids. Okay, so does that say exercise is fun, healthy, hard work, or dull? And we see that it said it's part of a healthy life. So your answer would be B. Which of the following is a detail from the passage that supports the main idea? And remember, we've already underlined our details. So A, kids who exercise deal better with daily challenges. Was that one of the things we underlined? Yes. Okay, grown-ups exercise at the gym or on the track. Remember, we were talking about kids, so that's not a main detail. Most kids like to exercise by being on teams. That was not one we underlined. Everyone should exercise more than they do. So that the only one that we had underlined was A. Which of the following is not, make sure you notice that word not in dark print, a supporting detail from the passage? Okay, kids who exercise sleep better. We saw that in our passage. Kids do not get enough exercise. Kids get exercise by playing. It talked about that in our passage. And kids who exercise have strong bones. We underlined that. So the only one that we did not underline would be B. Kids do not get enough exercise. It did not say that in our passage. So what do the details in the passage have in common? Okay, they're all about kids. They're all about the benefit of exercise. They're all about sports, and they're all about ways to have fun. Okay? The next one just said details from the passage. This entire passage is telling about how exercise helps you. So the answer would be B. Okay? What do the supporting details teach you about exercise? Okay, so think about our main idea. It says exercise is an important part of a healthy life. So that is what all of these details are teaching us. Exercise is an important part of a healthy life. So if you just wrote that very first sentence, exercise is an important part of a healthy life, or anything you put about exercise being good for you or being healthy. Okay? So remember that's in your own words, so it doesn't have to be exactly what I said. Okay, so let's look over on the back. This story was about bees. It says bees are insects that most people have seen. You know they buzz. You know some of them make honey, but there is a lot of information about bees that people don't know. Bees are insects that may be several sizes and colors. The biggest bee is 1.6 inches long. The smallest bee is only about 0.07 inches long. That's about 2 millimeters. All bees are covered in hair. Bees can be black or brown, and some bees have yellow or orange stripes. The most colorful bee is the orchard bee. It is bright green, blue, and red. Without bees, many of the plants we enjoy would not be around. Bees eat pollen and nectar from plants. Pollen is the yellow dust you see in the middle of flowers. Nectar is the sweet liquid that some plants make. Bees that make honey use nectar to do their job. The bees fly from flower to flower. As they go, pollen gets spread from one plant to another. This is what lets the plants reproduce or make new plants. Okay, so let's look at our questions. What's the main idea of this passage? Okay, so what is this whole passage about? I know this whole passage is telling me about bees and facts about bees. So A said bees are fascinating. B, bees make honey. Bees are black or brown, or bees eat pollen. So B, C, and D are all details or facts that it told me about bees, but that's not what the whole story about. The whole story is about bees being fascinating or interesting. Remember in that first paragraph it says there's a lot of information about bees that people don't know. So it was trying to give us some interesting facts. Paragraph 2 is mainly about what color bees are, what bees look like, how big a bee can get, or orchard bees. And you had to be careful because all of these things were mentioned in this paragraph, but it says what is it mainly about. This whole paragraph tells us about their color and their size, and it mentions orchard bees, but the main purpose of this paragraph is telling us what bees look like, which includes how big they are and their colors. One detail that helps you understand the main idea of paragraph 2 is bees come in several sizes and colors. Bees are interesting insects. The biggest bee is 1.6 inches long, and some people are afraid of bees. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and eliminate D because I know that was not in paragraph 2. And we said paragraph 2 is telling us about what bees look like, so that would be A. They come in different sizes and colors. Which of the following is the main idea of paragraph 3? So if you went back to paragraph 3, that's telling us that without bees, many of the plants we enjoy would not be around. So plants make other plants, pollen grows in plants, bees make honey, or plants need bees. So the whole paragraph is telling us that plants need bees. And which detail supports that main idea? Which detail tells us, we said the main idea was plants need bees, but we need a detail that supports that. Bees spread pollen from plant to plant. Bees are fascinating, or honeybees make beeswax. So the only one that tells us how the plants need the bees would be B. The bees spread the pollen from plant to plant. And number 6, write 2 more details from paragraph 3 to help you understand the main idea. Remember, the main idea was bees are fascinating. So remember, this is your own word, so this answer can be different for everybody. One thing I would have chosen for something fascinating, a detail in here, I thought it was fascinating when it said that bees are covered in hair. I didn't know that all bees are covered in hair. So that was a detail that tells about bees I found interesting. Okay, and another detail it told me is that I thought it was interesting that the biggest bee is 1.6 inches long. Okay, but those are just my 2 details. You could have put any details from the story that tells, or 2 details from paragraph 3. Okay, so sorry, I didn't look at that carefully. Y'all know Miss McEwen makes mistakes sometimes. So if we go to paragraph 3, I was looking at paragraph 2. Paragraph 3, okay, so any details you wrote from paragraph 3 to help you understand the main idea. So you could put any of these details. Without bees, many plants we enjoy would not be around. Bees eat pollen and nectar from plants. You could have put a fact about pollen. You could have put that bees fly from flower to flower. Okay? You could have put something about when they, this is what helps the plants reproduce or make new plants. So any details, but make sure you use paragraph 3. Don't make the mistake Miss McEwen did. I didn't read carefully. So make sure from paragraph 3, any 3 details that help us understand why bees are fascinating or interesting. Okay? Great job, guys, and we'll see you tomorrow.